everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Not Everyone Should Have a Podcast. But me, basically. So I currently do have my family's location up, so if they come home, I can turn everything off and pretend I'm sleeping. Because I don't really want to deal with the questions. Like, do you ever get that way where it's like, you love your family to death, but don't ask me a question? Like, the moment you ask me a question, like, it's over. Like, my day is ruined. My day is ruined at 4:45 p.m. Because I did just wake up, like, 3 hours ago. And it's like, girl, you're actually not gonna do this right now. Like, there's no way. Sit your ass down. Lay down. Lay down. That's my son. I love him, but sometimes I just need to really smack some sense into him. And I think I'm doing this podcast. No, you know what, bitch? It's a podcast, okay? And it's my podcast, and I can talk about whatever I want. I'm doing this podcast because, well, first of all, I've been told that I should make a podcast. Second of all, I think that if men who buy podcast equipment can just get on the internet and tell you about your own life, or give you dating advice, or tell you that you're too fat and not attractive, I feel like I can come on the internet and, I don't know, like, spread happiness, love, peace, and joy. So, yeah, maybe that won't be every episode, but yeah, talking as if I have some type of, like, agenda, and this is my first time. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to try and get an episode out every Monday. I think I want to do that because a lot of my favorite creators, they release on Mondays and, like, Fridays. Yeah. So basically, the whole point of this podcast is so I can just yap and rant and ramble and basically talk about whatever I want, and no one can tell me to shut up, because if you want me to shut up, just scroll out of my YouTube video. Yeah, I'm not gonna have, like, a specific theme. I'm not gonna have, like, girl, it's not gonna be clean, it's not gonna be organized, sometimes it's not gonna be nice, sometimes it's gonna be really honest. And honesty, you know, it isn't always nice. So anyways, every week I'm basically just gonna talk about what, girl, you're going to make me, like, lose my mind. Sit down, lay down. Guys, he's cute as fuck. Like, I can never stay mad at him. But it's whenever I start talking to, like, something or somebody, he is just an attention whore, and he will just come sit down. Anyways, like, girl, no one's looking at you. He's like all, like, spread out and stuff. Now I was, like, man spreading on my bed, and, like, bro, I got, like, shit on my hand. Like, what the fuck is on my hand? Okay, anyways. So all this cussing is giving me the vibe of probably no monetization anytime soon. But girl, let's be real, because, well, there's probably really not many people watching this. Anyways, I'm going to come on this platform in whatever mood I'm in. Girl, 'cause no, like, is my mom actually coming home right now? Like, you're playing in my face. You're playing in my face. Anyways, whatever mood I'm in, whatever vibe, and talk about whatever it is I want to talk about. Because, I don't know, contrary to popular belief, I'm actually really, like, intelligent, and I like learning about things. And once I learn about something, I like teaching it. So basically today what I want to talk about is, like, manifestation, and basically my journey and where I'm at now. Because girl, when you get in this journey, it's a long fucking thing, and you learn that this isn't what you thought it was. Basically, like everything in life, not what you thought it was. So let's go back to Indiana circa 1983. I think that's how it goes. Whatever. Let's go back to like when I was like 13, which was so long ago, because like I'm considered like ancient now. But I was like 13 and it's like sad and depressed as fuck, you know, when it's like, you know, like every 13-year-old basically. And I was on YouTube, and it probably started because like some guy, like I was probably just really in deep and I wanted it, you know, like I just like wanted to be loved, I guess, at 13. Yeah. Anyways, so it probably started with like a tarot card reading, or maybe just one of those videos that was like how I live my dream life or something. And when I was 13, my dream life was like living in New York, and like, girl, I'm actually getting a fucking call. Oh, this is annoying me, bro. Like, uno momento, por favor.
Basically, it was just my mom calling me, telling me the time we're going to the gym is changing. And I said, can't talk, sorry, I'm filming my podcast, plus not going to the gym, I'm doing this. So, sometimes in life you just have to put your foot down, honestly. Like, no, I'm not going to the gym. Sorry, not working out. I'm actually gonna DoorDash a $20 drink from Mechanic Coffee that is just like blended sugar, like diabetes, and I'm gonna eat a large, even though I'm going to medium yesterday. And then I'm gonna lay in bed all day, and I'm gonna drink that bitch. And I'm not gonna go to the gym because actually I'm filming my very important podcast right now, which is very productive. So anyways, where was I before I got interrupted? How can I get interrupted when there's not even anyone home with me right now? Like, come on. Girl complains about having a loving mother. So yeah, where was I? 13. Like, the worst fucking year of your life, basically. Unless you're like skinny, blonde, and like have a lot of friends and play sports and like all the guys like you, I feel like 13 just really sucked. And I remembered when I just turned 13 and I was at the doctor for something, and my doctor straight up said, she's like, oh, you're 13, or like you're turning 13 or something. And I'm like, yeah, with like light in my eyes and like happiness. And she was like, this is gonna be the worst year of your life. Okay, thank you. But shout out to her, because she wasn't wrong. So anyways, it was probably just one of those YouTube videos that was like how I live my dream life. Like, the word manifest like was not on TikTok yet. It was not like a buzzword. Law of attraction, everything like that. Like, I hadn't heard of anything. So like, I watched it, and it was like, basically it came from a very like magical perspective and like magical place. And okay, she's not coming home. Tea. A magical perspective and a magical place. It was like, okay, period. So I can have, yeah, I'm not going to the gym, baby. Baby, there's no plane. So, girl, it's my podcast though, so if I'm like all over the place, I'm all over the place. So like, yay, I can have my dream life. You know, I can, that's what I was saying. At 13, my dream life was like living in New York and having like Blair Waldorf's like closet. Just like everything designer, and like being with like a Chuck, you know, and being like devoted to, and you know, just like so in love and having so much money, and doing something with fashion. I think that was like what I was into when I was 13. Oh, modeling. Oh, I wanted to be a model so bad. Victoria's Secret show, I was there. Like, I watched it on my TV. I got like in 2017, I got the Victoria's Secret fashion show robe. Still wear it to this day. Like, girl, I've always been an angel. Anyways, that was my definition of like dream life. And then obviously like friends, because, you know, like I never had friends. It's like quite obvious though. Anyways, so yeah, that was my first introduction to like, wait, life doesn't have to suck, you know, like, oh, there's hope at the end of the tunnel. But the way that they told me is just like, be a positive person and vibrations and frequencies and like, quite frankly, all this bullshit. And that's when I kind of got into like tarot readings. I was like 13 and in love with Timothée Chalamet, and I was like, please, can this tarot reading like promise me that I'm gonna marry him? And it would be like, oh, this person has like a December birthday and like his name starts with a T, and like, oh my god, I was like, yes, I'm gonna marry him. Like, I'm manifesting him. Like, anyways, Miss Kylie J has got that down now. But the only reason I'm not with Timothée Chalamet is because it's just never been our time. And this last time when he was chasing me, you know, like in my DMs, wanting to take me out, like courting me, I was just like, Timothée Chalamet, like, I can't do this. Like, I love you, but I can't do this. So I was like, I need to focus on myself. Just like this whole thing. But don't ask him about it because it's just like a very sensitive topic for him. But he's very happy with Kylie now, and yeah, baby on the way, maybe, I don't know. But anyways, so yeah, then it was like tarot card readings, and then it was like, maybe I was like 14, and on TikTok I would see like people with like moldavite and like crystals and incense, and so I became that girl, okay, like whole crystal collection. I bought the moldavite, and literally it actually did work, because I think after I bought it, not too long after, we moved houses, and I also like had my first relationship, and yeah, I think I like lost a ton of weight too. I don't know, it was, yeah, I don't know what necessarily like was triggered by the moldavite, but anyways, this whole collection, incense, very much that girl, very much into law of attraction and having to do shadow work so you can get everything you want. There's these lovely ladies on TikTok who had, I think it was like this, like, it was a Google Classroom, you know, like in 2020 it was like very popular to like join people's Google Classrooms like on TikTok, and they had my ass doing shadow work and asking like, hey, why do you hate yourself, like, you know, what's this from, work on this, like, let's unpack that. So that was very much me. It put me in a really positive space, but I think a lot of it was toxic positivity, and I think that's why I don't, and many other smart people don't subscribe to law of attraction, because it's basically saying if you vibrate at this level and if you're a positive human being, then this like council of like the universe, like these people above who are watching you, you do good and you're happy and you're positive, they'll give you what you want. And you kind of just, in this journey, you grow out of that and you learn that that's not true. If you think it's true, like, and it makes you feel good, you know. I think some people, it's scary for them that they can control their whole lives themselves, and that there's nothing stopping you, you know, there's nothing that is a higher power than yourself. And I think it gives people, and me when I was a teenager, it certainly gave me a sense of peace, like knowing that, hey, like, the universe loves me, the universe has me, the universe has my best, you know, interest in mind. I do remember I had a pretty good method of manifestation, because in law of attraction, you're still taught to think that manifestation is you're bringing something in, you're making something happen, you're creating something, you know. That's kind of what it is, but like, you know, not fully. I would do this thing where I would be like, thank you so much, universe, for this happening right now. I remember being at, well, actually, I think one of my manifestations was going to Coachella last minute. And I was like, thank you so much, universe, for like us finding last minute tickets, like at a good price, whatever. And basically I was trying to meddle with the middle and with how the manifestation would come to me and how we would get the tickets, not knowing that what actually ended up happening is my mom just went, and they had leftover tickets, like they weren't sold out, so she just went and bought Coachella tickets for us. I would have never imagined, you know, that that's how it would happen, but it did. I went with my best friend, and I remember it was like Tyler the Creator's set, and we were in the pit, like I finna be in the pit, you know, and there was like hella people, and I wanted to be closer to him. And so I literally would just say in my head, like, universe, thank you so much for like making us as close as you can to like the stage or whatever. And I moved up, like, I don't know how it happened, but I have videos and I was like very close to him. There was a lot of other things at this time, like the way people acted and how interactions would go with people. If I was nervous for something, I'd be like, universe, thank you so much for this going perfect, you know, thank you so much for this person liking me, whatever. And it worked for a long time. And it makes sense that it worked, you know, because I was assuming being at the end state, and I was showing gratitude for, you know, receiving what I wanted. But I think the only issue there that I don't subscribe to now is that I am the universe. I am everything. Like, there's not a council, there's not a power higher than me, there's not, people. If you said bless me, thank you. There's not people who are up there and are like, we're gonna give her this desire, we're not gonna give her this desire. You know what I mean? That's also like another thing with karma. It's like, I don't subscribe to karma or good luck or bad luck anymore, because it's literally just who you're being. If you believe that karma exists, things are gonna happen where it's gonna look like karma's, is playing in your reality or whatever. And if you subscribe to like, oh, you break a mirror, you get 13 years of bad luck. I was raised like very superstitious, so it's like, if you put your purse on the floor, you lose money or something. If you spill salt on the table, and if you don't throw it over your left shoulder, you're gonna have bad luck. I was very much raised with like those superstitions. Like, I wasn't raised religious, but I was raised with superstitions. And yeah, you kind of just like learn, once you're into like law of assumption, that you are in control, and that what you say goes. You make the rules. So if I say, yeah, this is gonna make me have bad luck, like, why would I? The tongue is magic. Like, why would I talk that on my life and myself? But that's just, how your reality has to show up if you have that belief. Anyway, so I went from law of attraction to law of assumption. I got into law of assumption because it was like 2 years ago. I met this asshole of a guy. He love bombed me, fell completely in love with him. And, well, this was the story that was happening. The past doesn't exist, but I'm bringing it back into consciousness right now, because it was an experience, that I had chosen at that time. But basically, I really wanted him back. And so I was like, I was so manifesting. I'm like, there has to be a way that, like, I can change my life for the better, like, and to attract him in. And then I found people like Sammy Ingram. I don't know her last name, but she's a goat. And other people, I forgot their name. But it was very much like, oh, law of assumption. Then I got into the Reddit forums. And through that, I would read, it was like on the Neville Goddard Reddit. I learned about Neville and his teachings. And a lot of people in law of assumption tend to really look up to Neville and almost, like, worship him in a way. He's pretty cool. He's also the goat, but I don't subscribe to like his teachings and his teachings only, or really anything. Like, I don't do sats or anything like that. But anyways, I found a law of assumption Discord through a Reddit forum, and so I joined, and I made friends on that server. I was very well loved on that server, very received, whatever. And then with this SP, man, like, SP in the manifestation community means specific person that I was trying to manifest back in and trying to make fall in love with me. It was just like, I would do like sats and I would feel really good about it, but what I didn't know at the time is like, then I go check his social media, and then I check the girl that I think he's talking to, and like I would check the 3D, and I was giving everything else outside of me so much power. And basically he showed up in my 3D even worse than he was before. And so I was like, fuck this shit, I'm out. I was like, hell no, I'm not doing this. I was like, doesn't work, it's not real. And then I was mad because I saw manifestation as something you had to do, as a horse that you fell off of and you had to get back on. And then if I wasn't affirming, like robotically affirming, I was just really hard on myself. And it wasn't fun, it wasn't enjoyable. I was just punishing myself, and I was done. So I left the server, I was just like, whatever, I'm letting go of this guy. His name was literally Wolf, by the way, like, should have known. But I let go of him, like, found myself. It was a crazy year of finding myself, but I found parts of myself. I moved across the country with my best friend, I moved to my best friend, and I lived in a house of like 7 people, lived there for 3 months, and then I came back home, and now I'm not friends with any of them. Like, it was a very crazy year. So then that was in 2024. Then 2025 comes up, and this was probably, bringing things back into consciousness and awareness as memories. This was probably a really hard year for me last year. It was good because I found myself in my first, like, long-term committed relationship, like, almost lasted a year. But I got diagnosed with OCD. It's not like the OCD where everything has to be, like, in perfect order. It's, like, pure OCD, which is, if I go into this room and this light is off right now, that means my mom's gonna have cancer, or I'd wake up in the morning and my mom would have driven to work already, and I would think I need to call her to make sure she didn't die on the way there. So it was very much like that, and I had relationship OCD, and where, like, I didn't think that, like, I liked my partner, and it was, like, self-sabotaging, and, I got the books about it. I went to exposure therapy, which is, I forgot what it's called, like, the number one, it's called, like, the gold standard for OCD therapy is basically what I did, which is, like, exposure response therapy. Yeah, something like that. But anyways, that was my whole year last year. Completely, I put the crystals up, tarot cards away. I was just like, I blamed manifestation for my OCD. Which, in a person who has OCD, the idea that what you think becomes your reality is very scary. And that's why you have to make that leap to I am / non-duality awareness and consciousness. And the fact that nothing has power over you, nothing is more powerful than you. You have to make that leap, or else, you could be stuck where I was blaming everything that I had learned. That gave me OCD. Did it make me more paranoid? Maybe it did, I don't know. But anyways, I spent all last year being in a relationship where I was crying every week, and I finally got, I got medicated, and then it was like the beginning of this year, I broke up with him. Hallelujah. And then after, I had this friends with benefits kind of situation, like right after I broke up with him. And I don't want to hear shit, because it's one of those things where women are often resigned from the relationship months earlier than when they actually end it, because you're just done, and you don't know it. You're in denial about being done. So I had just broken up with him, like a month prior, but it was like I wasn't with him for like 3 months. So I had this friend, and it was just sexual tension, and we gave into it, and yeah, friends with benefits. And I wanted this MF so bad. I wanted him so bad, and I'm sorry, but he's ugly, like, as fuck. And basically, I went back into manifestation. So it started with, just buying myself all these self-care things and regulating my nervous system, because when he shut down or didn't want to be with me, I immediately went to, I am not enough. So I need to do all this spiritual stuff, do all these vitamins, make myself prettier so you'll want me. And I don't know how it happened, but it was just like this one TikTok on my For You page. And it was this girl talking about law of assumption. And she's like, you can manifest somebody in. I was like, damn, you can. I forgot you can do that. You can do that. I was like, I really want this. I want this really bad. And I don't think I necessarily wanted him. I think I wanted the lifestyle that I associated with him. I thought if I had him, I would have this lifestyle, not knowing that I could have it without having him. I related, my brain related the two things together. And so basically, I went to the Etsy witch. I got that love spell. And I really started relying on her. I would come to her whenever anything was wrong, whenever anything weird in the connection happened. Like, why isn't he committing to me already? Like, is, the spell working? Whatever. I put all my power into her. Till eventually she told me, she's like, I'm going to be honest, like, maybe it's just not meant to be. She's like, you can't force someone, that's against the laws of the universe or whatever. And now, knowing what I know, I'm very much still, I'm into like witchcraft and everything, and tarot. I'll explain my whole view on that, and how I relate it to my school of thought that I subscribe to now. But I should have known, like, I don't know, like a witch telling me that I can't have what I want. Like, as long as it's coming from a place with like good intentions, which it was, like, I should be able to have what I want. Like, that's what spells are for, like, I didn't do anything crazy like an obsession spell. I just did like a love spell, but I've seen some like really intense spells, and they work or whatever. And so I think that was my moment where I was like, oh, fun. I was like, no, I want what I want. Basically, I found Eric, I forgot what his channel is called. The Power of I Am. And I feel like that is everyone's opening into I amness, consciousness. Bible verses used in a metaphysical term and not a religious term. I feel like that is everyone's passageway. And then you get into like Ellie in the 4D, I think that's what it is, on TikTok, and you get into like Miriam, and just like Axel and Tone, and all these really great manifestation content creators. And so basically, this bald-headed man was telling me, you can have whatever you want. You just have to assume that you are that person, that is your identity, your self-concept. And so he told me, do like these meditations. So I'd put on the theta waves, and then I think of myself on the pedestal, and I think of my friends with benefits and how he's, like below me. And I say every morning, I am all that is, I am love, I am perfection, I am always chosen, I'm everyone's top priority, no one is better than me, no one compares to me. Every single day. I remember the days when he says that in the beginning of all of his videos, and I'd be like, okay, I'm all that is, I'm perfect, now I can just say it, and I don't even say it every day anymore, because it's just like, yeah, I am that I am. Like, I am that bitch. Yes, that's me. Hello, everyone. But, yeah, basically, he was just teaching me about self-concept, and then I was in this place where I would do these meditations and whatever, and I totally attracted in my friends with benefits. Like, he would call me all the time. He would text me all the time. Like, I was very much in a place of power, but then at the same time not, It ended up ending, and he kind of just, like, stopped talking to me. It's like mutual friends and mutual friend groups, so I'm never really going to be like separated from him, because you're not separated from anyone. But yeah, it kind of just like died out because I met someone new. Basically, the issue in that whole dynamic was I was manifesting him in, but I did not think that I was worthy to be a girlfriend, that I was worthy to be committed to. That was just not my programming. That was not my belief. So he showed up in my reality just how I assumed myself to be, which was someone fun, that was there for sexual purposes and friends with benefits kind of thing. There's like benefits without a friendship, girl. Literally, like, no friendship. It was just like benefits. Like, I had to beg this man to take me out to eat. Like, he didn't want to be seen with me. Not because anything crazy, but like it was also like on the DL to like our friends. Like, no one can know, whatever. It's like a little sneaky link moment. But anyways, I met someone else on Hinge. I wasn't looking for anyone that night. I wasn't on there for like real reasons. My friend was like, you want guys to send you money, like you want to find a trick, go on Hinge. So that's what I did. Every time my friends with benefits would come over, like I would delete the dating app because like I thought he cared, but obviously I had these underlying beliefs in me and assumptions that he didn't care and he didn't want to be with me, he didn't want to commit to me or whatever, and like that I wasn't girlfriend material. So anyways, yeah, wasn't looking for anything. I went on Hinge, re-downloaded it, I had so many requests, found this one guy. I was like, damn, he's not really my type, but there's something about him. I was like, there's something about him that like really, I like read his bio, I really liked what was in his bio. Like a big part of my life is like music, and that's a big part of his life too. It's like both of our careers. And I was just like, mommy likey, and the first thing he said to me that I had to like respond to was something that like was not even like my vibe. I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. We started talking, and it was just like sparks, actual sparks. And I was like, okay. I remember earlier this year in February when I broke up with my ex. I was laying in bed with my mom, and I was like, I'm so upset that I stayed in that relationship for so long, and it's not even who I wanted. I said, I told my ex this. I was like, I need someone who is gonna take me dancing and dance on the dance floor with me and make a fool out of himself and do things last minute and be goofy and have a good relationship with my family. My mom was like, Valentino lipstick in my white bag? Anyways, I feel like we're crying with this bitch. Sorry, Rakai, I know that you're watching this because you love me very much, and I'm very famous and popular, so of course one of the biggest streamers is watching me. But anyways, my mom was like, this is good, you have this time now to think of, your perfect guy. And basically, boy, I told you, he's an intentional one. Basically, this was the guy. This is the guy, this still is the guy. Anyways, everything on my list, everything and more, stuff that I hadn't even thought about. And then I had this list that I wrote on my iPad like 2 years ago, and he checks every single box that I physically wrote. I was like, oh shit, like I manifested him. It was very much fast, hot, and heavy. We both were not expecting it. Very much attached to each other, texting all the time. He happened to literally be moving to my city, like 30 minutes away from me, right when we started talking. So our whole, like, relationship, you know, and, like, friendship started almost, like, 4 months ago now. And he was still, you know, like, in the South, like, getting ready to drive across the country to the West. To the, what is it called? To the West Coast. Okay. Anyways, yeah, to the West Coast. And, man, fireworks, let me tell you. After everything I've, like, been through, didn't let myself get, like, attached, like, yucky, calling me baby, yucky, all that stuff is yucky. But with him, for some reason, bitch, I was just like, I'm in love with this man. And I made the decision. I was like, I'm going to marry this man. So everything's going really well. He really, really likes me. It's like a week and some change. And he gets to where I live. And he's like, I really like you, but this is going too fast. You know, we had little conversations here and there about, like, oh, is this possibly, like, too good to be true kind of thing. And it made us feel better that we were both, like, on the same page about it, you know, because it was like, okay, you're not love bombing me, you know, like, you're a normal person. We reassured each other that, like, if this doesn't happen, like, on the normal, you know, on the regular, whatever, like, you're a very special person to me, and we don't know why, but it's just, when you know, you know. Anyways, so, lo and behold, he gets to his destination, and he says that. And after he says that, I'm like, yeah, it's fine, like, you know, you opened me back up, and I was like, lover girl, I'm so ready, but, you know, it's fine. And I was very chill with it. He's like, see, like, you're so chill, like, he's like, I do, like, want to be with you, you know, in the future, it just, it can't happen anytime soon. So I cried about it. I was like, fuck, like, whatever. And in this time, he basically, like, technically, like, ghosted me. Like, we were not texting as much as we usually were, and, like, he wasn't calling me baby anymore, and it was just, like, erg. And this was, like, the day, 2 days before, like, we were supposed to meet. I think it really tripped him up, because now knowing him and knowing the kind of person he is, he's, very, like, anxious about things, and he's a thinker, you know, like me. And so, yeah, basically that happened, cried about it, and I had a conversation with my mom, and I said, I chose. I don't know how, I don't know where, I don't know why, I don't know when, but this is my husband. I manifested him into my life. This is who I'm going to marry. And tears in my eyes, I fucking did it, guys. I went back to the basics. I went to, like, J-Talk's manifestation, Sammy, and robotic affirming is basically saying something over and over and over again. So, you know, the neuroplasticity in your brain, like, rewires your brain and, like, the way you think about something. So instead of thinking all the time, oh, they must not like me, you tell yourself, like, oh, they're madly in love with me. Like, of course he's in love with me. And then, you know, your brain is malleable the word? I don't know, but it's changed. It changes. It's forever changing. It's plastic. I don't know, you know. So this is why, like, opinions and morals and habits and stuff, they always change. Because you have this thing you've been thinking forever, and it's like a groove in your brain, and then, you know, you change the way you think about it. So yeah, that's what robotic affirming is. Basically, do it all the time. It was never really my thing. Like, I always saw it as, like, a job, or, like, I don't know, just something that I didn't really want to do. And when I wasn't robotic affirming, like, I would, like, beat myself up about it, and think, like, oh, my manifestation's, like, it's paused now. So anyways, I locked the fuck in. He ghosted me for, like, 4 days, like, actually didn't talk to me, and I was like, fuck, funno. I was like, funno, I miss him, like, I miss him. And, like, I know he misses me. Like, meditations and all. I learned about, like, thought transmission, and, you know, some people believe it, some people don't. People like Ellie in the 4D will tell you, like, they're not even thinking anything, you're not even thinking anything, you know, but then you kind of come to this conclusion that you're the boss of everything. So if I think that, if I'm sitting here and saying, oh, he misses me so much, he can't stop thinking about me, I'm doing it right now, he misses me so much, he can't stop thinking about me, he's deeply in love with me, like, he's miserable without me, he's thinking about, like, you know, he's picking up his phone right now, he's texting me, whatever. I just did it. So I started doing that, and I started affirming. I locked the fuck in. Like I'm saying, I was, like, high off a gummy. I was watching Love Island, and I was still affirming. And it got really engraved in my brain. And then one morning, I woke up, like, early in the morning because I got a text. Was not expecting it to be him. It was him. He was like, I'm so sorry for being, you know, like, for not talking to you, whatever, da-da-da, how are you? Like, I miss you, kind of thing. And then just telling me basically, like, the whole time we haven't talked, like, oh, like, he didn't mean to ghost me, he wasn't trying to, and that, like, he was still, you know, like, looking at pictures of me the whole time, and, like, thinking about me the whole time, and whatever. Basically, everything that I was, like, telling him, and more, you know, just came back plentiful. And then he started calling me every night, and I it was actually the first time I found someone on TikTok, and she was just starting out, and she was specifically an SP, like manifestation coach. And I bit the bullet, and she was just starting out, so her coaching was reasonable, and so I bought her coaching. I was like one of the first people, and she really helped me. I don't know if it's what she told me. I don't know if it's because I told my brain, once I get help from someone who's done this, like, it's gonna work for me or whatever. But one of the methods she gave me is, like, look at a picture of them and literally just tell them what they're thinking, tell them what they're gonna do. And so I'd be like, you're gonna call me. Like, you wanna call me so bad. You can't stop thinking of calling me. I kid you not, every night this man would call me. Every night. Then we started falling asleep on the phone together. Then, finally, it was, like, a week and a half of that or something. And he was like, so when are we gonna do it? Like, I wanna see you. When are we gonna meet? Came over to my house. He literally stayed the night, like, for 3 nights. Then he left. We missed each other so bad. He wanted to come back. He came back 2 days later. Then he didn't leave for, like, 2 weeks. Then, like, I went on a trip for a couple days. He stayed and watched the house because he just moved here. Well, not just moved here anymore, but he's waiting for other people to arrive here so they can get a house together. So he's been staying with friends and stuff, and basically he's been, like, homeless. And so, anyways, I would go on trips, and, like, he would watch the house, and, like, I'd come back, and he'd just always be here. And he spent, like, basically all of, like, June and July with me. He left for, like, a week because his friends came into LA, and, you know, they all, I just said where I live, bitch. His friends, came here, and they all got, like, an Airbnb and whatever. And then he came back. He missed me so much. He went back into the city, like, the next day, and then he literally came back, like, the next night. Like, he just could not stay away from me. And then it was, like, the beginning of this month, and it was time for him to go. You know, it's like, we're in my room together all the time, always with each other. I got so sucked up into the 3D and, like, thinking that it's real. And it's not to, like, victimize myself or put blame on myself or anything. Anyone would think, like, fuck yeah, this is real. Like, you know, he's right here and we're kissing. This is real, you know? We told each other that we love each other. This is real. Couple caveats, though. I always had in the back of my mind, and I know this now from thinking about it and learning what I've learned over the past week, I've had another, like, awakening. But the whole time, I was like, well, we can't be together right now. We can't be together because, you know, he's focusing on his career and whatever, and people would, you know, immediately just think we're a couple, and then, like, I would correct them. And so eventually, those conversations between us came, and there started being a lot of them. And it would just be me crying and me so sad, because I wanted to be with him, and it felt like he didn't want to be with me. And, you know, he'd tell me, like, I care about you so much, like, past the point of caring about someone, like, I love your family to death, like, all these things. And, you know, we finally told each other, like, yeah, like, I love you, like, of course I love you. And he was like, you know, if I was with anyone, like, of course it would be you, you know. And then it kind of just got worse. The conversations started they felt more absolute. Then we started talking about our exes and how, you know, it actually wasn't that long ago that we were with them, and how he's definitely not ready, and all this stuff. And it was going from, I'm not ready but I want a future with you, to I'm not ready and I don't even know if I can see a future. Like, I'm not even thinking about a future with you. Like, I love you so much, but I don't want to give you false hope. Not only that, but I also don't want to be exclusive. He's like, I'm not going out and, like, looking to, like, kiss anyone or whatever. Like, that's not even what I'm interested in right now. And he's like, and I'd feel bad, like, doing that to you, but I don't want to be tied down by any labels whatsoever. So I was like, fuh. So basically, while this person was living with me, I was mourning the relationship because it already felt like we had been dating for, like, these past couple months. And spending every moment together and watching shows together and just, like, playing house, basically. Being intimate in every way possible. Intimacy. Yeah, in every way possible. And that really showed. It was just, you know, my ego took over, and my emotions, not even my emotions, but the emotions of the body, you know. Rightfully so. Anyone would fucking feel that way when you're mourning the relationship that you had, like, with the person that you're with 24/7. It's hard. Basically, that was just showing up in my everyday mood, and he could tell we needed a break from each other. So he left, like, almost 3 weeks ago now. Oh my god, girl, it's been like yesterday marks, like, the 2nd week he hasn't been with me. But he left, like, a lot of his stuff here. So, you know, I know he's coming back. That was my grasp. Like, oh, I know he's coming back. Now everything, you know, I've learned, and I've had this reawakening. Like, girl, I know he's already here. He's already back. He's already mine. Like, it's inevitable. But anyways, so he went back to the city and didn't talk, and a little bit here and there, barely, like, not even a conversation. Girl, not even a conversation. And bitch, when I tell you, these are my 3D circumstances right now, okay? And I'm not saying them in a way that's like, I'm saying it because I'm letting it limit me or anything like that. Not saying that at all. I don't care about these circumstances because I know that it's literally just my old identity being reflected back to me and everything that I thought he thought about me. This man has not texted me in a week. In 4 months, this is the longest we've never talked. And it was hard for me at first, bitch. Like, I was depressed. I was depresso espresso. And then basically I came across this one TikToker, and she knows a lot about neuroscience and manifestation. And so she explained robotic affirmations and, you know, all these manifestation techniques from a scientific perspective. And something really clicked for me. Like, seeing it in a scientific perspective, I was like, fuck yeah. Like, it makes sense, you know, that if these thoughts create our assumptions, which create our reality, of course it makes sense that, you know, if you hammer something positive into yourself, it has no choice but to reflect back to you. And that's why people are like, girl, just persist. Affirm and persist. Through the tears, through the anger, through looking at the 3D, like whatever. Affirm and persist. And they're fucking right. Like, affirm and persist. Like, that's literally what I'm doing now. And so, basically, like, that woke me up. Bam. Then Ellie in the 40, I went to her Substack, and she had, like, these videos to watch about, like, spiritual awakening and stuff. And a step further, which is, like, non-duality and, like, coming from a place of, like, all you are is awareness and consciousness. That's all there ever was. That's all you are. That's all anything is. And how our senses make it feel like this is our fundamental objective reality, like this headboard, you know? But it's not true. Like, it's just not. Like, what made you think that? I don't know. We were taught to grow up like that, I guess. But anyways, your girl has been putting in the work. I even dabbled into, like, scripting. It made me feel really good last week. Now I'm at a place where I just realized last night that there is no past. I don't let that, you know, take a hold of me. I just got over the hurdle of being mad at him for not texting me for a week, because you need to stop victimizing yourself. Literally just realized, I just tell myself, bitch, hold on. Like, he is just acting from the script that I gave him. When he was still, like, here living with me, I kid you not, all that was going through my head is like, he needs a break from me. We've been together for too long. We need a break from each other. He probably doesn't like me as much. He doesn't want to have a relationship with me. He wants to kiss other girls. I would say that to his face. I was literally like, I would crash out. Like, I'd just be crying. I'd be like, guys, you're basically telling me, like, you want to be with other girls. And he's like, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. Like, do you not understand it? He's like, I love you. Like, I don't want to do, like, that's not my intention. But I can't say that's not going to happen because I don't know what's going to happen in the future. And it makes total sense now because, like, that was what I thought. I still didn't think that I was good enough. Even after all this work, even after him telling me he loves me. And I kind of just had this realization. He lived with me. He told me he loved me. He showers me in compliments every single day. And I still thought that I wasn't enough. I was seemingly getting reassurance every single day from the 3D and what it was showing me physically from what I thought was real reality. And it still wasn't enough. I was getting the positive, what I consider positive, even though nothing is positive or negative. There's no polarity. It's all what your perspective of it is. And everything's just neutral, because that's what, like, non-duality is. And all you are is the observer. It still wasn't enough. It was in my face. It was everything I wanted. And I was still worried about losing him. I was not woken up to my power whatsoever. So basically, I don't know. It happened. I woke up. I had, like, my moment. I thought my moment would be, like, chills and, like, me being like, oh, wow, I'm God. I really do have the power. No, my moment was science. My moment was logic for the illogical, you know, because manifestation or whatever isn't logical. And now I'm just at this place where I've let that go. I don't resent him. I'm not mad at him. Then I got to the place of, oh, wow, even if I cry, even if I'm upset, even if I miss him, anything like that, if I say it doesn't affect my manifestation, it doesn't affect my manifestation because it's inevitable. I already made the decision. The moment that you can think about, you know, what you want, your desire, you can bring it into consciousness. You're aware of it. It's already been created. Because it's already created and nothing is separate out of me because everything is me. Everything is just consciousness. Then that's the part where, oh damn, it's already mine. Now that is the part. So last night I had a realization again. I really like tarot readings. I if I hear something that I don't like, I've come a long way from being scared and being like, oh, the cards and spirit is telling me this is going to happen, and then putting my power in that. And now if I hear something I don't like, I go, fuck no, it's not going to happen. Like, I'm in charge of my reality. I'm only going to get what I want. So I can very much do that now. And the thing is, like, these have been scary accurate. And it's been like, your person is coming in with like a love confession and like an apology. They're just really scared to do it because they're scared about what you're going to think, but they're doing it and it's coming. It went from like what this person is thinking and like, oh, this person is working on themselves to like, okay, they're ready. I was like, damn, this is putting me in a perpetual state of waiting. And if you were in a perpetual state of waiting for your manifestation, then the whole term of everything, of the law, of anything, went right over your head. Let that sink in, because those are some bars right there, okay? As Neuro would say, that's a bar right there. You are forever manifesting everything. Whether it's conscious or not, you are never not manifesting. Everything in your life is manifested. It all started from assumptions that you made in your head, unconsciously, and that is how your reality is built. What you think is reality. What we think is reality from our senses. What we see in front of us, the reflection, the 3D, that's how it's built. We never stop manifesting. I successfully manifested him away. Twice I manifested him away. I manifested him back. So it's like my whole life, like teenage life to like early adult life, I would say I don't really have a social life. Like I have friends here and there, but I want more. Like I want a big social life. And I was laughing at myself yesterday because I'm like, damn, I perfectly manifested that. I perfectly manifested me having no friends. If I said since I was 13, I don't really have much of a social life, and I'm kind of more like a loner. I have friends here and there, but, none really, like, consistent and, like, big group like I want. I keep telling myself that. That's my truth. That's what I'm living. Boom. That was a successful manifestation. All that being said, now I am to the point where I have so much peace because I know I don't have to be happy all the time and like toxic positivity. I know that I get my manifestation, reflected back to me regardless of how I'm feeling because the emotions aren't mine. And if you don't let the emotions be your truth, they have nothing to do with you. That dreams don't need to mean anything if you don't want them to mean anything. That circumstances are temporary. That the 3D is forever changing. Everything's forever changing. Nothing is final unless you say it's final. So I know he's mine. I know I'm gonna marry him. I know he's thinking about me right now. I know he's thought about me this whole time. I know he's been watching my social media. He watches my stories. He went from like liking them to not liking them to just watching them to whatever. I know this. I know when he comes back, he's gonna say, I missed you so much. I was thinking about you. Like, your post looks so good, whatever. And that's gonna be like, why he didn't come forward and why he didn't like it. And it's gonna be something that I obviously did because everything is me. So I came to this realization last night that it felt like I put myself in this state of waiting. And so now I'm at this point where I really am sitting back and being like, what is the law to me? What do I want to subscribe to? What works for me? Because I shouldn't have to watch an inch of any more manifestation content. I know everything I need to know now. I think at some point we turn to it because, it's comfortable and it makes you feel good. And seeing a tarot card reading, knowing that he's coming in, and it being reflected in my 3D right now. I don't use my tarot card readings as like, oh, this is what's going to happen, it's out of my control. No. I use it as like, okay, this is what my dominant, assumption or like thoughts are reflecting in the moment right now. This is what I'm bringing out there. I'm learning that just like everything is me, that I'm in charge of everything, that I make the rules, everything is neutral, non-duality, everything's temporary, nothing's final unless you say it's final. It basically just all comes down to you. And the part that I'm really trying to sink in right now is that I already have it. Like getting out of the waiting stage, right? Because I know it's going to happen. I don't have a single doubt in my mind. I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to like surprise me in the face, But I also am feeling like, am I putting myself in this waiting? There's a reason he hasn't texted me for a week now. Something is going on, and I feel like I have to persist, or I'm feeling like if I have like one more piece of manifestation content that talks about like how to stop waiting or how to truly realize that it's yours and it's here right now and you're not waiting for shit, I feel like that will be my moment. And then right now I can totally recognize that I'm not being the identity who has it because I'm explaining all this. But guess what? You're new every single moment because all we have is now. There's no past, there's no future, there's just now. So I'm brand new right now and I have it, and he's my boyfriend and he loves me so much and he texts me all the time. He's always communicating with me and we have a harmonious relationship. Period. But anyways, that's where I am right now. And yeah, that was my first podcast. I hope that you could get a little laugh, that you could get some information, because I do like sharing and I do like teaching. And yeah, like, the fuck, I don't know, wish me, like, I don't need luck, but wish me luck. And I will have another episode next Monday, and by next Monday, things will have reflected my reality. Changed up. Change it up. Shake it up. Shake it up. Anyways, thanks guys for watching, and just remember that not everyone should have a podcast. But